Hello YouTube friends, Ben Ochart here. Thank you so much for tuning in. You know, it doesn't matter how beautiful your aquarium is, if the front panel, if the glass is covered with a bunch of brown algae, it's going to really take away from how good that tank looks. Well, my friends over at a company called Reegugu, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Reegugu, you can see it here. My friends at Reegugu sent over what could be a very quick and easy solution for cleaning up that front panel of your aquarium so that it always looks perfect. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at it. Traditionally, the way I clean up my glass is by using a very common algae scrubber, just something on a handle like this. And I also have another one that has a blade on it. And these are great. The only problem with these is that depending on the kind of lid you have, it's going to involve messing around with the tank and reaching down. And if you have a tank like the 210 that I have that's very deep, you're going to get your sleeves wet. You're going to get your entire arm wet, really, trying to get really in the corners and down to the bottom. Very often where the algae grows the most, right along that edge between the substrate, and the glass. So there is a bit more elegant solution, something that doesn't quite get you as wet, and that is to use a type of like a mag float or a floating type of scraper, the kind that you are no doubt familiar with or have seen. But this seems to be a new one that's come on the market, and I really like the look of it. And you can see it here, by the company Reegugu, and you can see the writing on it. And it comes with this attachment. This blade is optional. You can take it off if you want to, just by knocking it out of the little slots back here and replacing it with a plastic blade, so that if you have an acrylic tank, you don't have to worry about scratching the acrylic with a metal blade. Instead, you can use the plastic blade. It's got a very, very strong magnet, and so just be careful attaching that. You can see here, very, very strong. And I imagine if you cut your finger in there, it could really hurt. Well, there goes the blade. You could probably kill somebody next to you if they're they're standing there. So just twist this off. That's how I suggest you do it. On the inside, you have a little bit of a Velcro, type of a material that is designed to go ahead and break up the algae. So let's go ahead and test it out. And it's certainly going to be easier than having to remove, in the case of my 90, I'd have to remove the lids and to work on it, a big giant piece of plexi that I have on there. In the case of the 210, it's just a matter of popping the lid open. That's not too bad, but I have to get up on a stool and to be able to reach way down in there. With these back here, I have those long condensation trays, and so I have to remove the whole condensation tray to get down there and scrape with one of these guys. So having one of these inside of the tank will make it a lot easier. I'm going to put a link below the video on how to get your hands on these Reegugu. It's a funny sounding name, on these Reegugu scrapers. And let's go ahead and give it a shot and show you on video how they clean. I've intentionally allowed the aquariums to go a few more days longer than they would normally to build up some of the algae. One of the things I love about full spectrum lights is that they show the colors of the fish. One of the things I don't love is that they do encourage algae growth, which is a good thing. It's a sign of a healthy tank, but you do get algae growth. So let's go ahead and try this and see how it works. I have two nice patches of algae right here, actually three of them. There's another patch here, and then there's some algae all along the bottom edge right here. So let's go ahead and start in on them. Okay, that cleaned up pretty good. Okay, that looks pretty good. Looks like the blade actually scrapes the glass as you go along, which is nice, especially with this lower section here. Okay, that looks a lot better on that one section that I cleaned up. They do offer a larger model, which might be more appropriate for a tank this size. You can see the difference. This is the larger model. You can see the difference in size. So you get a lot more scrape area. So certainly if you have an aquarium with a very large surface panel like this one, you'd probably want a larger one and then just store it off to the side. There's the bottom of it. You can see it again, a very strong magnet. Just twist it on, that'd be the safest way to do it. But you can see the size of this thing, pretty hefty. And so it comes in two sizes. And I'm gonna go ahead and put a link below. I'll show you how it works on another aquarium with a different color substrate. Maybe you can see a bit better. So I'm actually using the bigger one on this smaller tank. The magnet is unbelievably strong to the point where I almost couldn't separate the two pieces. And I guess if you had to choose, you probably want a magnet that's too strong as opposed to too weak. The blade actually rides on the glass, and so it does a little bit of a, it actually gives you a little bit of a blade cleaning as you go. I actually bent the blade back a little bit. I had a towel around my hand so I wouldn't cut myself, but I bent the blade back a little bit in trying to separate the magnets because they were so powerful. You can see it's doing a very good job of getting this brown algae cleaned up here. And one thing I like about it is that if you do go into the sand, it doesn't look like it's going to hold on to any of the particles that will end up scraping the aquarium. Now compare this to this type of a function, which is just reaching in and getting your hand in there. And if your hand has any kind of chemical or soap on it or anything, which it shouldn't have, I know you're careful, but if you might have something on there, you just finished, giving the dogs a bath or something with some anti-flea and tick medicine, and now you've got that medicine in your tank. So that's one of the drawbacks to using this type of a system. And but the system is efficient, probably less expensive. It does hold on to sand particles, as you can see, and those sand particles can be an abrasive and end up scraping your glass. When you're done using it, all you have to do is just take it to a corner and just disengage it, and then wrap around this way, and it'll flip around, and then it'll just store right there. Look at the product up on Amazon. It looks like the extra large, the one I just showed you on the 55, is $24, and the one that I have that I used on the 210, that's their large size. This one back here is the extra large. So large is $20, and the extra large is $24. So here's my take on the Reegugu. I think that it's a good product. I do not recommend the extra large for regular size tanks with regular glass, traditional glass. I mean, the glass on a traditional tank is, you're looking at 3/8 of an inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch regular glass. So I don't recommend that you use the extra large one. It's too strong. It feels like you're going to break the glass, and it's hard to push because the magnetic strength is just too much. However, on my almost 1 inch thick glass 90 gallon, it worked fine. So on regular traditional size tanks, consider getting the small or medium size. On the larger tanks, consider the extra large, where you need that strong magnetic force to work through that much glass, to work at that much distance. So it worked great on the 90, the extra large. It was a little scary on the regular tank, on the 55 gallon. Is it better than using like this? I would say yes, for two reasons. Reason number one, you don't have to get your hands and arms wet, and by extension, get into the tank, whatever's on your hands. Anytime you can keep your hands out of the tank, it's a good thing. So in that sense, yes, you don't have to mess with lids. You don't have to mess with removing condensation trays or evaporation trays like I had to do here on this 55 to get in there with something like this. And this has a greater tendency, I can see some particles in it now, this has a tendency to hold on to gravel, and then that gravel serves as an abrasive and scratches your glass. So yes, I recommend the Reegugu, $20 to $30 price range, going from small to extra large. Seems like a lot. It's one of those one-time purchases. Once you have it, you just have it forever. I don't really see how this thing is going to wear out. So I'll include a link below, and you can check it out. Make up your own mind on it, of course. And but I'd give it, you know, I'd give it probably 4 out of 5 stars. And the only reason I wouldn't give it 5 stars is because it the larger magnet was just almost impossible to separate, and there's no warning in here or anything that tells you how to do that. And that's the only reason I don't give it a 5 out of 5. And one last point, it does float. So if for some reason when you're trying to get it around the corner or you separate out from it, it will float to the top, so you don't have to fish it out from the bottom. Okay? So that's it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in. Share your thoughts below on what you think about this product for cleaning glass, or if you've used anything like it, maybe the Reegugu itself, or maybe you've used MagFloat, things of that nature. Let me know your thoughts below, and I hope to see you on Saturday for Cichlids and Coffee, the live stream, 11 a.m. Central. And that's it for me. Thank you so much, and a big shout out to all my Patreons. Bye-bye.